What's going on, everyone? It's Corey and Jack here from the Breakevens, giving you another podcast. Jack, do you want to say hello to the folks?
Hello.
So, the first buy round is over and done with. Hopefully, you all scored well. It was one of the easier ones, but I know a few people. This was their bad buy because they planned for rounds 14 and 15. Um, Before we get into the podcast, let's go through our socials because there's a lot to go through, which is crazy to think we were just going off Twitter and YouTube in the past, and now we've got everything else. So you can find us on Twitter, by the way, at Breakevens Pod, on the road to 500 followers, up to 454. So I think we need 46 more to hit that big 500 by season's end. So make sure you go give us a follow over there. On YouTube, you can find us at The Breakevens. We got a whole bunch of our shorts over there, Jack, from last week. All the games starting to get some traction over there. And I uploaded my round 12 team review. And if you haven't checked that out, I highly um, think that you should probably go do that because there's a lot to talk about, especially going into these buys and what I'm planning to do. But we're on the road to 200 subscribers over there, so make sure you give us you hit that subscribe button. On Facebook, you can find us at the Breakevens Pod. Everything we post over on Twitter goes and is posted on Facebook. So if you don't have Twitter and you're like, how do I get um, all your notifications, where I get all the links, it's in the Facebook group as well. So the Breakevens Pod over there, you'll see our logo. And finally, on Twitch, we are streaming 2 to 3 times a week on the Breakevens channel. Jax will know a little bit more on his personal channel. All links will be in the description. But Tuesdays and Sundays, there is always a stream. Depending if that's FIFA, if it's AFL, or Cricket 24 when that comes out. But we're over there consistently, so make sure you jump in and you talk Supercoach, you talk footy, you talk sport. We're all sport mad, so if you've got anything to talk about, make sure you follow us. Watch us play terrible at games, but we,
Absolutely.
we can talk sport. So just search the Breakevens on Twitch there. Geez, that's a big intro, Jack.
Yes.
So let's get into the Supercoach side of this podcast, not the 4 minute intro. Last week, how'd you go?
It looked amazing, and then the first game hit, and since then it was downhill.
Wait,
I think I was projected like 2-3 or 2-4 at the start of the week,
yeah.
and I got hit with 1,884.
I mean, not bad being a buy round, because it's top 18, which means you averaged 100 per player.
Yeah, season rank made me feel a lot better. I jumped 5,198.
Lovely.
It's a big number. Problems that I had was Powell and the Bakers, because I don't want to mention them differently to get mixed up.
The
Brought in
Bakers.
brought in Will Powell and Liam Baker, both averaging, I think Powell's 102 and Baker 99.98. Haven't got anywhere near those numbers since. And I'm pretty sure there's a music quote. You can fool me once, you can fool me twice, but not a third time. So I'm officially giving them the Lockie Whitfield and never again, no matter what. I will pick a non-playing player over them if they're the only choice on earth.
Yeah, Liam Baker's stuff you over twice.
Yeah, I mean he had a 70-point second half on the weekend and he scored 78. Um, Sam Walsh, like I said, the Friday night. I think he had his 30 touches, but
Butcher,
72.
Butcher.
Um, who else? Obviously, Eddie Ford had what we were all expecting last week. Not a great score with 48. And then you got Sheasel and Zeeble, the bloody twins, Ryman. I think Zeeble was 59. I can't fully check because I got rid of him, and Sheasel's 72.
Yep.
Um, the worst thing is this next player, Stephen Canelo. I said he wasn't gonna be as good. Everyone said I was an idiot. Then I decided to go against my word and pick him up at like 400k, and he's continued with what I expected. So I think he joins the list of never again with Powell and Baker. Obviously, the other Baker scored 41 with
From
like a
not not
DT
not
score of
99 details.
99. He had 22 touches and a point for 37 Supercoach. I wanted to chuck him in the Adam Bonner club just for that difference. But yeah, nah, I also did take a massive risk with Taranto captain. It was more of a risk it to win games instead of be safe and take the losses.
Yep.
Um, because I could have been safe with Dacos's 123 and then lost games by I think it would have been like 60 points, or take Taranto, him do what he did, but just better with the ball, and he scores 170
Yeah.
because he did what I said he was gonna dominate. His ball use was just clearance kicks the whole time.
It was just classic Toronto.
Yeah, he did still get 111, but obviously the 12-point difference, 24 captain.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a risk I felt I needed to take, and sadly, he just decided to do his usual self and dominate the game. Probably get free Brownlow votes, but not use the ball at all.
Yep. Classic Toronto. You doing any trades this week?
I've done three. Let me just get this up so I can go exactly through it. So, Chincotta, Baker of the Oscar variety, and Jack Zeeble are out.
Yep.
I've brought in, I don't know his first name, but Chris Mullen.
Oh, Ersheen.
Chris Mullen. Um, Mainly because that 133k, 135k from going Chincotta down to him helps with what I'm doing with some cash left over,
Yep.
and two, he's got a chance to play after his bye.
Yep.
My next one is Oscar Baker to Jeremy Cameron.
Nice one. Nice
Um,
one.
Cameron has the bye this week, but I'm not affected by it. I was more looking this week with players who've just had the bye or having the bye this week that I could afford, just so my team could be stable the next 2 weeks. Obviously, not just grabbing Jeremy Cameron because he's got the bye this week. I'm getting Jeremy Cameron this week because he's got the bye. He's got an average of 98. He's shown he can go massive, and he's heavily underpriced.
Yep.
Um, and I was severely looking at Zeeble to Luke Ryan, but I've decided to change my mind, and I have gone Zeeble to the legitimate Seagull, not the wannabe fake in Jack Zeeble, the legitimate in a Lloyd, who
Alloy.
is 4k cheaper than Ryan or 3k cheaper than Ryan. So it's not like money was the difference in me going Ryan to Lloyd. I just think Lloyd's been more consistent, and over the last 3 weeks with Freo, not including the bye, Freo were winning by a lot, and he scored under 100 every time.
Yeah.
So it seems like when Freo are bossing it, he's not scoring, and when they're doing not crap but not as good, he's dominating. And Freo look, especially over the last 3 weeks, but they look like they're on to their form last year.
Yep.
So I've gone Lloyd as he's been pretty consistent throughout the season.
Yep. Nice. Quickly, how many trades do you have left, and how many primo spots do you have to fill?
So I've got 8 left,
Yep.
and I've technically got two,
Yep.
but one of them's Bailey Humphrey, who's averaging like 103 in the last 3 weeks, who's
Yep.
someone who might not even need to trade. Um, it's practically him and Seamus Mitchell, but Humphrey could be one to go,
Yep.
but he could be one to stay as well. I've not thought about trading him just yet. I've thinking more get Mitchell up, and probably get rid of Sheasel in the next week or two before getting rid of Humphrey.
Yep. Nice. Nice.
So
Um,
I've technically got two, but it can be classified as one with how Humphrey's going.
yeah, Humphrey's definitely a hold up to the last buy, and then reassess then, I
Yeah.
think. All right. I'm going to go over to my team. So I scored a decent 2084, which was a round rank of 324, which saw me jump 628 spots, and I am now ranked 274th, which is absolutely insane. I've never been this high. And same in Supercoach. No, I'm joking. Um, so I'm crapping my pants because
You don't want to take a risk, but you feel like you need to take a risk to jump more. So they're like, oh, what do I do?
yeah, and I'm like 700 points behind first. So um, yeah, it's pretty nuts. Um,
Sounds like a job for Liam Baker.
definitely not. Um, my week started off really well on the Friday. Well, not really well. I'd say well on the Friday. I had the VC on Christian Petrarca who scored 159. Um, so I definitely took that.
No,
I
you'd
had
be stupid not to. Let's be honest.
I had Chincotta on field who scored a 61, which I was happy with. And just like you, Jack, Walsh only 72, so not great. And then it kept going well for me there. Weddle got a 90, Humphrey a
That was
99.
insane, by the way. Weddle got like a 60 or 70 point last quarter super coach to get that 90. So like I didn't watch the game, but he went off.
Yes. Um, I wasn't complaining at all. Um, Merritt, who was my captain, was on 104 at half time, and I was like, shit, he's going to score 200, and I've lost points there. But he finished on 137. Take that.
Copped a massive Liam Shields tag.
Yes. Um, English went big with 156. And Ford only got a 48, and Jack Siebel a 59. My trades last week, I got in Darcy Cameron, who scored 105, so I was happy with that. And I think who else did I get last week? I got Cameron and I got Eddie Ford. So that was last week. So one win, one loss on that, I'd say, but Ford still made money.
Ford
This
made like 90K, so it's a win, even though well I don't think he would have counted because it was a bye week, so it's even better.
yeah. Um, Now trades this week, I've also done three, which leaves me with six trades, Jack.
So he's just a couple under me.
Yes, so I
You're
got
probably
rid.
full primo then as well.
I'm two off. Um, I got rid of Chincotta for Mullen, Ersheen Mullen as well.
Chris
I,
Mullin,
I got rid of Will Day for Lockie Neal, and I got rid of Will Ashcroft and doing some sneaky DPP stuff. I also got a Lloyd. So If you did watch my team review, I had Luke Ryan in there, um, and I changed that to Lloyd. Jack sort of touched on it, but also his role changed because Frio's game style changed. So those big 130s, 70s that you were seeing was because he was the guy. He was that guy. Now Hayden
It's been
Young
more Hayden Young, and
is
he's
that
the
guy.
one that's going off.
Yeah. So look, he's still going to score well because he's getting kickouts, but he's not going to be as big. And that probably 110 that we think. He'll probably go 95 to 105 for the rest of the season. And I've just chose Lloyd because he's going to be more consistent in my eyes, and he's a little bit cheaper. So with those three trades, I've got 85k left over. As I said, six trades left, and I have two rookies I need to get rid of. One being Humphreys, who I can
Possibly
obviously
keep.
hold for now, um, and Eddie Ford. Now, I still have Weddle, but he is my D7 at the moment because I still have Zeeble there. So Zeeble will be a luxury trade if I can. Um, but first, it's just getting those two rookie spots and turn them into primos, which I should be able to do in the next couple of weeks anyway. So we'll quickly go through the Breakevens team. Scored 1,916. Zeeble and O'Donnell on field, but I don't think O'Donnell counted. Um, Merritt was the captain with 137. Had Walsh 72, Chincotta and Wardlaw. We still have Grundy, which is a problem. And we have Cornelio, Sheasel, and Ford. Um, Now, did I send you possible trades? I think I might have.
I think he did.
Yes. So getting rid of Sheasel, Chincotta, and Zeeble, and we're going risky for Caleb Daniel, Fahy from GWS, and Ben Keys, who we're going to talk a bit about in a second, which Jack doesn't know about. But
Fun.
fun. But we are now ranked 9,489. So we've hit top 10k with this side. So um, doing pretty well. Um, Happy with how everything is going. So that all said and done, let's get into a few discussion points. So the first one will be Ben Keys. Obviously, he's 300 and is it 46, 96k? Yeah, let me get it up.
I think it's 49.
369k is a forward mid. He's been playing forward at the start of the season, and the last 2 weeks he's gone back into that midfield and has tugged up twice with 106 last week and 102 the week before. So basically, Jack, if you had to, for let's say cash gen wise, um, or because you don't have the cash and you have to go cheaper, would you look at Ben Keys?
Possibly. But Ben Keys is a massive risk because he's the poor man's Taranto. I think it was last week or the week before, he went at like 37% by foot.
Yeah,
Um, so that can obviously he's been kicking even though the last 2 weeks he's been playing mid, he's been kicking goals still. Um, if he has a game or two where he's not kicking goals and he's obviously still going by that 37% by foot, you're gonna see 80s and 70s drop.
yeah.
Um, so it's a risk in that way, but looking at all the options, I say if needed, he's the best option.
Yeah, so um, just looking back in his past couple seasons. So in 2021, that was his big
Big year.
big year. He scored 100 well, he averaged 103, right? Um, now he's forward mid, so 103 as a forward is pretty decent.
It's better than four of my six starting forwards at the moment.
um,
So I'd say it's pretty good.
and then last year he turned up in the first 9 rounds before
In a row.
he hit a 96 and then 2 tons before his bye. So a low score of 96 in the first 12 rounds. And he continued that form all the way up to round 19. So he had a 68 in round 14 and a 61 in 18. So he was averaging 108 up to round 19 in 2022. And then he went 90, 40, 66, 46, which saw him drop to an average of 99.6. So I'm not exactly sure if it was a role change towards the end of that year, but when he was playing that pure midfield, which was basically up to round 17, um, he was a very serviceable scorer with a high score of 149. So um, my only worry is, and he's done this um, already so far this season, is a forward tag. So if you look ahead to their next few games, West Coast is not going to tag, obviously. Could go absolutely huge.
I mean, they could put him on a Tim Kelly or Dom sheet if they wanted. Let's not forget those two have been very good for West Coast. And if they wanted
Yes,
to be safe, because West Coast were pretty good last week, if they wanted to be safe, you could see him go onto a Dom sheet or Tim Kelly.
they were pretty good last week, but they lost by 63 points. They were good in the
Yeah,
third quarter.
they were good in the second and third quarter, and then 9 injuries because the Huntsmen were out in the first quarter. Um, Obviously they ran out of gas. They were good for 3 quarters, and then running out of gas made Collingwood look better than what they were.
Speaking of Collingwood, after their bye in round 14, they played Collingwood in round 15. So he could possibly do a forward tag on Dacos. Then they have North Melbourne, not really going to forward tag anyone. Could tag LDU if he's back. I know LDU's not back this week, so could do that. And then they have Essendon where he could try and do a job on merit. And then Melbourne, Port, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sydney, and then West Coast again in the last round. So could be a few tags. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But if he's playing that pure mid, we know he can go around 105. Um, but yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is that forward tag. He's someone I've looked at in like another one of my sides because I'm trying to downgrade Zeeble, get some cash to upgrade other rookies up. So it is a viable option to do that, but I think it is a big, big risk doing so. Um, he could be a great pod. So select him if it's
Cautiously.
dire straits really. If you need to start jumping up those ranks, he could be the guy. But me personally, for my team, I'm staying away from Ben Keys.
I'm not going near him as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's more a power play than anything there, but he could do a job. Um, Now, one more player I wanted to talk about, Jack, is someone who's priced the exact same and it has had a role change.
Avoid. You don't need to say name. I can tell you right now, no.
So Jack knows what I'm talking about. The other guy is at 369k. Defender forward is Harry Himmelberg. Now, before I let you speak, King. Um, he averaged 90.6 last year. Um, Obviously, the first 10 games, he had a high score of 91 and a low score of 37, playing pure forward. And then in round 11 came the change where he went back as that +1 defender. And I'm just going to read out his scores from 11 to 23. So 126 had the bye, 187, 95, 114, 101, 98, 132, 130, 74, 103, 184. Um, Absolutely insane run home there. Was one of the big gets last year if you jumped on him around his bye. Um, what do you think? Apart from avoid, why is he an avoid? Um,
He's an avoid because he's got the role for 1 to 2 weeks max, and then he's going back to full forward. He got moved back into the defense because they had injuries to Isaac Cumming and Sam Taylor. They're both expected to come back in 1 week, if not after the bye in 2 weeks. Um, and with them back, there's no spot at him at full back. And if they are, they're going to have to drop one of their best defenders, which I can see unlikely, and it will not be a consistent role. You'll see him more forward, and coming to the end of the season, you can see the likes of Cadman being dropped and rested, and going back to the VFL for some more learning curves, which would put him straight back there. Um, if you're getting him, it's for a week or two until Taylor and Cumming come back, because there is probably a 5% chance at best that he keeps the defensive role with them two coming back, because he's practically taken the Sam Taylor role. And if there was anyone to replace in the defense, with Taylor comes in, you can be like, he can take, I think it's Iden. Iden's been on fire. And the other ones, I'm pretty sure Callum Brown. Callum Brown is playing the Isaac Cumming role, who's returning at the same time.
yep.
So there's no one to take out of that Giants defense to keep him there unless they go crazy, which Kingsley isn't the type of person to go insanely crazy to play 4 key defenders when attacks are playing two, at best, 3 key defenders, where Giants have got that covered, and they're not going to lose one of their runners in coming. Ash, who's spent a lot down there, and I'm pretty sure Callum Brown has who's taken Cummins' role, been running using that run. Not going to lose it for another bulky, slow intercept defender,
Yep.
where they can rest the likes of Cadman, get him down there for some more experience with Hogan and Riccardi, who's been all right the last few weeks. So he's a pure avoid because he's got the role for 2 weeks max, and I don't think he will see it again unless it's a one-off every now and again. Or Cumming and Taylor's injury, they get injured and they're back out again.
Yep. So um, if you had to choose one, Keys or Himmelberg?
Keys is a lot safer, even though it's still very risky. Keys has the potential to play midfield, even if he plays forward. He has the potential for a split where Himmelberg for the next, possibly it could even be 1 week, not even the two. Um, he's probably going to score 100 playing in that fullback role, then go back to his 40s and 30s as a key forward, and 60s he's kicking 3-4 goals.
Yeah.
So I'd say Keys is definitely the safer pick, but I wouldn't touch either. But if you had to pick, it'd be Keys because he's got the chance at any time to go mid, where Himmelberg, you're praying for an injury for him to go back.
Yeah. So you sort of touched on the reason why I think you can select Himmelberg, and that is their forward line at the moment. You said Cadman, Riccardi, and Hogan. That's 3 big guys already.
Yeah, and you saw one Riccardi come in when Himmelberg was forced to go and play that role in defence. So Kingsley's proven and shown throughout the season that he wants Himmelberg forward with either Cadman and Riccardi, and one of them misses out. So they've already proven that. It's not like they've tried to play the four forward. And with Taylor and coming back, one of Cadman and Riccardi will go out, which I think will be Cadman, who's long due a rest. As we saw on the weekend, he's dropped off a fair bit, and we'll see Himmelberg back forward.
Yeah, well, look, GWS know that their season is basically just don't finish last. Um, I think there's a possibility that Kingsley just goes, all right, Riccardi, Hogan, Cadman, you're our forwards for the rest of the season. Obviously, hopefully, no injuries. And Himmelberg, let's play behind the ball. Let's see if you can still do it. There is, I can,
There's the question, but the question with it is, who do you take out?
I, I can see a world where that happens. So, let's
There
have
there is a possibility, but it's like, who are they going to drop? You got Whitfield down there, you got Ash down there, you got coming down there Taylor, Iden, and um, who else is the other key
Buckley.
defender? Buckley. Like Buckley's been by far their best defender this season. They're not going to drop Sam Taylor because he's one of the best one-on-one defenders in the league.
All right.
They're the two players he's
What
fighting with.
what about this then? Defenders that played last week. So you got Lachlan Keefe who can go out. You already said Callum Brown, he can go out. Himmelberg
Callum Brown
played.
played forward.
Um,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah, but you already said he's going to
It,
be replaced with coming, right? You got
yeah,
Whitfield, Buckley, Iden, Ash. So really, you've got Buckley and Himmelberg and Keefe are your big body, tall defenders, right? If you if Taylor comes back, right, Keefe's gone.
yeah.
Yeah. If Cumming comes back, it's probably going to be Brown or Josh Fahey are the
It
ones
won't be Brown because
that will come out.
Brown will move to the forward line most likely.
Well, if Brown moves to the forward line, then you have Brown, Cadman, Hogan, and Riccardi, right?
Brown's not a key.
No, but even still, right? I think Himmelberg is a big chance to stay as that third, maybe even second tall defender. Buckley's not moving. Taylor, when he comes back, isn't moving. Ash is playing like a midfield half flanked role. Iden's that runner.
Iden's that
Whitfield's
third big. He can play big and small,
yeah.
which he was playing big at the start of the season until Taylor went down, which
Yeah,
he's
so
gone
he
to a bigger position.
he goes back to play on a small. You got Woodfield who just runs up and down the ground basically, and then you got Cumming and Taylor to come in. I think it could be very likely that Himmelberg stays back, but the risk is if one of those key forwards go down, it's a straight swap back.
But it's also if Kingsley plays him, because you can see Cadman being dropped instantly. The man
I
is out of gas and he can't. He needs the rest.
yeah, but
And if Kingsley
they
was smart, Cadman would be straight out.
also they have their bye. Is it next round?
I'm not too sure.
Because realistically, you just play them till they're bye. They have a week off anyway,
It's in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So it's round
So
15.
just
So
before Cumming and Taylor come back. And then
yeah,
round 16, they're back. And I think Cadman stays out
I
or
think
Riccardi goes out.
I think all roads lead to Hogsmeade. No, that's just a Harry Potter joke. Pretty lame. Um, I think there is a very big chance that Himmelberg can go back. Now, who would I prefer? As you said, and I agree with you. I think Ben Keys is the safer option out of the two, just because that there is that bigger uncertainty over Himmelberg his role, where it now looks like Keys is going to play midfield and then might play that tag in role in a few games. But saying that, Hilberg has the highest ceiling, in my opinion,
He
but
has the
he
highest ceiling
has the
if
lowest floor.
Kingsley keeps in there, which I
Yeah,
still think is 5% at best.
yeah. So I'm staying away from both as well, because I'm in a good spot with my team. But if I had to choose one, I would go Keys, in my opinion. All right, next and final discussion I want to talk about is our two North Melbourne defender forward primos. In the likes of, also, I just got champed in a bloody message. Not happy about that. Um, Jack
Call him Squirt.
Jack Zeeble and Harry Sheasel. Now, these guys both averaged around 100 so far this season. Both dropped 59 and a 72. Zeeble with 59. Um, their roles have changed. Now, we saw this with Zeeble a few weeks ago. We actually, it was one of our discussion points with Sheasel. Is he a keeper? He played forward but still turned up. He had like a forward mid time. His role at the moment is basically getting flipped forward and in defense and forward and defense. So there's no real consistency there. When he was a defender, he'd rack up 30 disposals, get his 100, go home nice and happy. Now, if we have a look at the past couple scores, if it wants to load, which funny enough it does not. Great, we'll have to wait on that. So the 72, I'm pretty sure it was around a 70 or 80 again. 3 round average of 87 and 5 round average of 88.2. Well, here we go, it's finally loaded. So 79 and 72, playing that role at 464k, so he lost 4.5k, 464k. I think he is a must get out. Just because at the moment is 100k to 150k off getting a primo, if that's as a defender or a forward. He's got to break even 119, so if he scores 88, he's losing 14 more k. So unfortunately, he's done us very well. For some of us, he made 300k, but for most, about 250 minimum. So thank you, the Shees Dog, for that. Now, the big one is Zeeble. He was more of that keeper type. Then Sheasel. Sheasel was a bit of a could be. Um, so Zeeble, the last 3 weeks, 88, 71, 59. He's three, got three of his four lower scores there in a row. So what's happened to Jack Zeeble? He's still playing that defensive role. So what's gone wrong? Aaron Hall's come back. And basically what's happened is Jack Zeeble has gone from in kick out wise, this is his kick outs starting from round one 5, 7, 5, 5, 10, 6, 3, 9, 9, 6, 6, and on the weekend, Jack, 2.
Who?
Aaron Hall has come back the last 3 rounds and gone 3-1-5 on the weekend. So Zeebel's, it might have just been this game, and just the way things worked out, but 2 kickouts is not good for Zeeble. And
One
oh,
thing to add on with Deeble,
yeah,
especially the last 2 weeks, because I've watched North the last couple of weeks, his kicking has turned to poo.
I was I was just about to talk about that. His disposal efficiency has been down. Like
Because
he kicked 2 out
I
on the full
saw
for no reason on the weekend.
I saw a couple times on the weekend he had an open kick and he just shanked it out on the full. It wasn't once; it was like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
Um, so I'm not sure if he's losing composure because it looks like he's also become a key defender. Um, more because of he's very strong. Like I'll give him that. He's got the build. It looks like he's taken a stronger forward instead of one that's a similar size to him who may be quicker but he can outmuscle and outmark, and he's also losing contested marks, I believe, or they're dropping a bit.
yeah,
Um so it's like he's even though he's still a defender, he's gone more of a key defender, and unlike the likes of Luke Ryan, who is the primo of all primos at the moment in defence, and Tom Stewart as well, um, he's like you said, he's not getting kickouts to add a boost to his score, and he's not getting those intercept marks that would also boost his score.
yeah. So he scored that 59, went down 51k. So um, he's at 517k right now. He's a must get out. I'd probably go Zeeble over Sheasel to trade out this week, only because Zeeble's break even is 172. And if he drops a 98, which he might not even get, he's going to drop 33k, and then you're looking at someone around 480.
But
Um,
also another thing is Greenwood set to miss this week, so we could see Sheasel in the middle
yes,
at times. So he's got the better potential to score higher, and even with his role changing every 2 minutes in a game, he still scored more than Zeeble.
yeah.
So
Um,
I'd say get rid of both as well, but Zeeble first, then Sheasel.
Unfortunately for me, I can't get rid of Zeeble this week, so I'm probably going to lose some cash on him. But I back myself to get those um, dollary dues back. So yeah, I just wanted just to quickly chat on them too because they are still very relevant, and a lot of people still have them. 76% of sides for Cheezel and 31.9 for Zeeble. So all right, that's all the discussion points done and dusted out of the way. And now we move to our favorite segment of the podcast, and that is Jack's Aiden Bonner Club.
And we've got a big week this week because not one, but two players are back.
They're back.
They're back. And there's another one of your men that join in the ranks,
Ah, lovely.
we could say. So getting in with one vote for the second time in a month from the Essendon Football Club. Wait for it. With the exact same Supercoach points, but 3 more extra minutes, we've got Sam Wiedemann.
Ah,
Hey!
yes, please.
He's consistent, the big man.
What is score?
9
Nine.
for the second
Lovely.
time in a month.
Hey, great trade. Great trade.
So he has now jumped from one vote to two votes.
Yep.
In second with two
Is
votes.
sorry, is he the first one to double vote?
Second we have the man, the myth, the legend, Rafe McInnes.
Ah, is he your next one?
No, no, no. He was a
Oh
couple of
yeah,
weeks
yep,
ago.
yep, yep. Sorry, go on. Two votes.
Two votes with a just as good eight Supercoach points in 30 minutes. He is now the clear cut winner at the moment. He's leading the race by Supercoach and by votes. We have from the Richmond Football Club, the emergency of all emergencies, Noah Cumberland.
No, he was on 15 at one point. What happened?
Last quarter, he gave away a few free kicks and dropped a few marks.
Oh no.
To be honest, I did it Sunday night because I saw Cumberland drop the eight, and I was like, yes, yes. Then we'll get into the free votes next, which is also amazing. And I saw he score, and I'm like, shit, he might not make it. Then we see a couple of people with free votes, 5 minutes, free super coach, 5 minutes, 8 minutes. A
Yeah.
couple of people with 6, 7, 11 minutes, 12 minutes, all people that got killed on the weekend. Then you see the man there shining bright for two votes on. I'm there like, please, he got subbed on at 3/4 time. Surely he played every second of the last quarter almost. And he scored eight Supercoach points. I
Oh.
was celebrating with Noah Cumberland. I was hoping not to mention a Richmond player in the Adam Bonner Club all season, but I'm celebrating that he's back, and I'm calling for old mate McQualter to start in next week so we can get more votes on him. So he is on 5 votes now, and
Nice.
now the 3 votes of the round in 51 minutes and 56 seconds with a gigantic score of one Supercoach point. So he did nothing. He was just there because he did nothing bad. He did nothing good. He didn't drop or gain Supercoach. Everyone starts with one from the Collingwood Football Club. We have a man who's played for the Richmond Football Club, who has played for the Gold Coast Suns and has also played for the Russian national team. He has the mustache of all mustaches in the league, taken over Joe Danaher, the man, the myth, the mustache, Oleg Markov.
Yes, Oleg. He, not gonna lie, it's been a pretty good pickup for us. It's just
Oh, he was
stiff.
the sub, and I don't think he touched the ball once. It was a bit of
Probably
Todd
not.
Marshall 2 weeks ago where he got concussed, but the ball didn't get down in the forward line before he did.
Nice, nice. Good Oleg. So, what does that mean for the leaderboard?
So for the leaderboard, still in third place from the Collingwood Football Club. We've got a man who could be returning next week, or this Monday, I should be saying. And I hope he does, just so he can get to -2 again and break his wrist again. And that is Daniel McStay. He is McStaying on the leaderboard. In second, also on free Supercoach points, we've got the dynamic duo, the Bulldog and the Tiger, taking out the jungle. Riley Garcia, who we have not seen in the AFL since that game, and Tyler Sonsi, who we have not seen since that game, sitting with -6 Supercoach points. I wonder why.
Yes, boys.
And we're in first place, as I mentioned just before, 5 votes. That is a record-breaking tally of votes in the Aidan Bonner Club. He had with obviously not his 8, but his -12. Noah Cumberland from the Richmond Football Club. You go, you king.
I I don't think anyone beats 5 votes.
I think someone does, and I think his name's Noah Cumberland.
True, true. All right. Well, just before we wrap up, is there anything you want to say, Jack?
Uh, Probably best to say nothing this week because I was positive going into last week and it crumbled.
Fair enough. Well, just quickly, Clayton Oliver is in doubt with an infected blister. Um, he's fine to go with his hamstring. It's just this blister, so they're going to wait till the Friday session, but probably not looking great. And Jordan De Goey, if you haven't heard, suspended for 3 matches for his hit. So
And it is 3 matches, not 3 weeks. We need to emphasize that the
yes,
bye does not count as one of the matches, as I had to explain to about 6 people.
yes. So he returns in round 17. All right, well, that's going to do us for tonight's podcast. So, thank you for watching and listening on YouTube and Apple Podcast. Don't forget, you can find us on Twitter at Breakevens Pod, on YouTube, The Breakevens, on Facebook, Breakevens Pod, and on Twitch. I'm about to go stream some AFL Manager mode over there. Search the Breakevens, you'll find our logo. Make sure you give us a like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is on the platform that you find us. Um, Round 13, only 2 teams have a bye, so it should be pretty cruisy. So good luck to everyone this week. I'm hoping to crack the top 100. We'll see how we go. Look out for our buy, keep, sell, avoid, and VC and C options. Our YouTube shorts on them that are going to drop in the next couple of days. So thank you all again, and until next time, it's bye for now.
See ya.